Hello, and welcome to the Be Purely Balanced podcast. I'm Dr. Crystal Couture, and today I'm here with Linda Shay. Linda is a trailblazer in the evolution of human consciousness and a pioneer in the field of dolphin energy healing. She has trained over 100 certified dolphin energy practitioners around the world. Linda tells her remarkable story in her book, Dolphin Love, From Sea to Land. Linda's collaborative service with the overarching dolphin consciousness is all about healing hearts, transforming consciousness, and creating unity community here on Earth. The unique gift Linda is blessed to share with humanity is the dolphin attunement journey. Upon receiving the 7 dolphin attunements, receivers become living embodiments of human dolphin consciousness. Linda also offers personal dolphin energy healing sessions, as well as in-person Sedona retreats and swim with wild dolphin adventures. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
It's such a joy to have you on the show today.
And it's nice to finally meet you. I've heard about you, for a long time. We have some clients in common, so this is a joy.
Likewise. So I'd love to hear about your sacred healing journey, how you got to be with dolphins.
Well, yeah, it's a very interesting story, Crystal, because at the time that journey began, I was living in Sedona, still am living in Sedona, Arizona, the desert, hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. Mm-hmm. I did not perceive that I had any kind of relationship with dolphins at all. The only thing I knew about them was watching Flipper TV show as a kid growing up.
Yes.
And I was a mountain and wildflower and land girl. So I did have a few years prior, I went to Hawaii after my husband died, and I went to do some healing and do my grief work. And I had the blessing of being on a boat that was surrounded by the Hawaiian spinner dolphins. All of the tourists ran over to the side of the boat where the dolphins were, and I felt a shot of energy enter into my body through my head and just shoot out my feet, and I was grounded to my spot. And I witnessed myself asking those dolphins, "What are you here to teach us?" And what I got back immediately was unity community. So I really didn't know what that meant. And living in Sedona, I left my corporate job behind, and living in Sedona kind of unraveled that corporate life from my system. And I started being able to talk to the rocks and the plants and the trees. So having this communication with the dolphins was not really anything out of the ordinary. And I kind of just let it go.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, I had left Sedona and come back. And as soon as I returned, within moments of meeting me, either people that I knew before or brand new people would start talking about dolphins. And I'm like, I'm in the desert. Why are they talking to me about dolphins? I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. But they were so in my face. And all of these other little synchronicities and what we call dolphin calling cards were happening. So one day I was so perplexed by this, I was pacing my townhouse and I just yelled out loud to the universe, "What is it about the dolphins? I'm in the desert. I don't get it." And as we know, when we ask, the answers come. So a couple of weeks later, I was dragged to an acting class for non-actors by a girlfriend just to do something fun. And that's where I happened to meet the man who's now my husband. And after the class, she and I went to a coffee shop. It was a fun class. We were riding high. We went to a coffee shop just to have some tea and to unwind. And in the center of the table was a little card that said $5, 5-minute psychic reading with this woman named Antara Rose. There was nobody else but us in the restaurant. So my friend and I looked at each other for $5. What have we got to lose? So when it was my turn, Antara looked into my eyes and closed her eyes and opened her eyes and yelled, "Dolphins."
Whoa.
Go to them, be with them, swim with them, be healed by them. And I swear she didn't breathe for 4 minutes. It was a stream of consciousness. And I'm sitting there like, that's not who I am. That's trendy new age woo-woo. No, that was so far outside of my self-identity.
Yeah.
And at the end of the reading, my friend was in tears. And I said, "Why are you crying?" And this is going to sound weird, but she said, "Linda, I saw you turn into a dolphin."
Mm.
What? And the reader said, "I was totally talking to a dolphin." I was like, "You guys are crazy." So I said to my friend as we left the restaurant, and I had been on sabbatical from my work, from my corporate job for a couple of years, and really awakening to my spiritual path and really being led by spirit. I just would jump whenever they said jump, but this seemed like it was too far out. So I said to my friend as we left the restaurant, "I'm not going to do anything to make this trip to Hawaii happen. It literally has to make itself happen." 2 weeks later, I was on a plane. It did. Everything manifested. And it
Wow.
felt like there was this big bubble of energy behind me, pushing me into having this experience.
Mm.
So I went to the Big Island, and the information came where to swim with them, where to stay. My very first afternoon, I drove down, and typically what I now know is the dolphins are in that bay early morning, and it's 4 o'clock. So I got down, and the kayak guy said, "You just missed the dolphins by half an hour." I'm like, "Oh," but I rented a kayak because I'd never done that before. And I just went out into the bay to acclimate myself to that.
Yeah.
And after a little while, and it was pure bliss. Oh, it was just heavenly being on the water. And after a while, I felt all this commotion further out in the bay, and I turned and looked, and there was all this splashing. And I just knew the dolphins were there, and there were other kayakers and other people there. So I started paddling really fast and felt like I was going backwards. I just couldn't get there fast enough. And I kept saying, "Dolphins, I'm coming, wait for me." And then I remembered an article that crossed my path. That was one of the things that happened in those 2 weeks that talked about the protocol of swimming with the Hawaiian spinner dolphins. And it talked about the Hawaiian spinners really respond to our energies when we're in a quiet meditative state. I certainly was not that. So I stopped trying to pedal, and I dropped the paddles, and I just took a deep breath and closed my eyes and was really taken into that meditative still point space. And it felt like the whole world dropped away, and it was just me and the ocean in that moment. And after a period of time, I opened my eyes, and these dark shapes were swimming underneath my kayak. And I'm like, and I knew it was the dolphins. And I was just looking, and I was like, "Oh, but I'm supposed to swim with them." I hadn't even thought to get snorkel gear, so the woman I was staying with let me borrow hers. I got into the water, and for 2 hours, Crystal, I was alone with this pod of about 85 wild Hawaiian spinner dolphins, completely by myself. The other people didn't come, which is really unusual.
Yeah.
And I had one encounter with one dolphin that our bodies ended up vertical right in front of each other. And I opened my eyes. My head was under the water, and this dolphin rostrum was right in my face. And his eyes were looking at me, and I burst out laughing. It was so unexpected. I could have reached out and touched him. He was that close. And he made some clicking sounds. I started to laugh, and my water flooded my mask. I had just surfaced. And just as I surfaced, he made the clicking sounds, which I now know are sonar. And that's the moment that I went for. I didn't need to move there. I needed that one moment with that one dolphin on my first day. And that encounter changed the whole course of my life. I left the water totally floating on a cloud and began having you recognize that.
Yeah.
And began having spontaneous encounters with other people on land, telling me, we would just talk casually about dolphins, and they would say they're getting energy. One man, the first man said, I receive dolphin energy through you. And I went, what? And inside myself, I heard, listen to him. He speaks the truth. So this whole journey began to just unfold naturally as I discovered that I had become a vehicle for the healing love and healing energies of the dolphins. So and then when I returned to Sedona, it was like, well, that was interesting, but what does it have to do with my life? I live in the desert.
Right.
And I was hiking on the trail, pondering that question, and a red rock beckoned for me to sit and meditate. So I did. And I was immediately taken into the place of no thought, just pure bliss. And this exquisite stream of energy or consciousness approached me from the right. And I heard, will you be one of our ambassadors on land and do dolphin energy healing as your career? Those things didn't happen. I didn't hear stuff like that. So that was a new experience. And I didn't know what any of that meant. I'd never heard of a dolphin ambassador. I'd never heard of dolphin energy healing. So I just kind of took in the invitation. And over the upcoming 3 days, the dolphins brought normal people to me, crossed my path, retirees, my husband's former landlord. And when they would ask, what do you do? I would say, well, I used to be a banker. And then I did massage. And then I take a deep breath and giggle and say, and now I work with dolphin energy healing. No one told me I was crazy. But what did happen was right before my eyes, these people would just open up and we would be connecting at a completely different level. Mm-hmm. I realized that the dolphin love creates such a sense of safety for us humans. Yes. And people would just pour out their life stories, things that they never shared probably with anybody else. Mm-hmm. And when it happened the third time with David's former landlord, he just poured out his stories about being in Vietnam. And I don't think he had shared those things with other people. David said, in all the years that David rented from him, they never said anything to each other other than business about the rental. It was nothing personal. What did you do? And as we walked down the street, I said, wow, David, if just talking about dolphins has this effect on people, what more are they capable of? So in that moment, I closed my eyes and I went inside and I said yes to the dolphin's invitation. Didn't know what I was saying yes to. And I felt my other spiritual teachers and guides step back and the dolphins swim in. And that was the beginning of my own 7-year journey of healing and transformation and metamorphosis that led to my awakening in 2003. And that's what gave birth to the Dolphin Attunement Journey. So wow. That's how it started. It was completely unexpected and literally out of the blue.
Out of the blue, which is the
perfect. Out of the blue.
No pun intended.
Literally and figuratively.
Exactly. Wow. So I have a sense about dolphin energy because we share
I know you do.
Commonality.
Yes.
But I would love for you to share with our listeners, what is dolphin energy from your perspective? What is dolphin healing?
Yeah, great question, because I attempted to answer that question in the early years. Everyone asked me that, what is dolphin energy? And I didn't know how to put it into words because it's something very unique to our human reality. And I actually had a channeling with a friend who channeled a spirit that I highly, highly regard. And these words came through to put words to what is dolphin energy. Mm-hmm. What came through is the beautiful healing frequencies of dolphin are the frequency of joy, the frequency of movement, the frequency of creating flow of love, flow of abundance, and an opening of the heart as never before. So that really spoke to me about the qualities of consciousness that the dolphins, being in the dolphin field and being receiving their gifts, awakens and enlivens and expands in all of us. Dolphin energy healing is simply being the straw. They told me to use the metaphor of a straw, that dolphin energy healing is a non-doing modality. The practitioner is in a state of pure being. And we simply open ourselves, we create a channel inside of us and give the dolphins permission to flow through. So we aren't the doers, the dolphins are the doers. And there's a vast array of spirit dolphins that support us in this work, and the perfect team for each individual comes through for each person's dolphin energy healing session. It's quite magical.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, Linda, why don't you share how this works, how you work with dolphin energy, how you bring that to people?
So right now we have a website. That's really, this is our year to build a foundation to expand our reach in the world. So right now, people find us through what I call the Dolphin Spirit Network. They just find us. Some people say, I don't even know how I found your website, but I found it, and this is what I've been looking for, and I didn't even know it existed.
Yes.
We don't market yet, but we will. But how I do it right now, most of my clients are at a distance, clients around the world, and we simply connect. They share their intention with me. I do a little invocation to bring the dolphins through, and then I'm in silence for 45 minutes to an hour, and they're receiving. I do, in the early experiences, because it was all an experimentation and learning for me to discover what this is and what it does for people.
Yes.
I really do believe that what comes through in a dolphin healing session is what people would receive if they were in the water swimming with dolphins physically. There is no, the dolphins are dissolving the illusion of separation through work through dolphin ambassadors like you and like me and others who are doing similar work.
I love how you just said this, dissolving the illusion of separation.
Yes.
There's more there, and I would love to, without creating a stream of discussion, I would love for you to expand upon that thought.
So my 7-year journey with the dolphins was, I came to them really as a blank slate. I knew nothing about them. I had no preconceived ideas or expectations. But when I was exposed to their love, it was a quality of love that I'd never experienced from anything else, anywhere else. And it was a quality of love that filled me up on all levels. Yes. And I began to yearn to be that quality of love myself and to radiate that quality of love to my fellow humans. And I'm in this human body. And it wasn't logical. It made no sense logically, right? But it was from the depth of my being, this desire. Yes. And it was that desire that kept me going through the 7 years of surrender and resistance and living in the mystery. And my spirit friend kept telling me that the journey that I was embarked upon was dissolving the illusion of separation between human and dolphin, between earth and ocean, between earth and the stars, that we are all one. Yeah. And the dolphins reside, I believe that the physical dolphins on earth are already living in the fifth dimensional reality. They live in oneness all the time, and we are getting there. So they're perfect allies to help us on our journey to unity community through that dissolving the illusion of separation. So what that means is as we embark upon that journey and say yes to it, it is very mysterious. We have to trust our intuition, and just know that where we're being led is to a place beyond our imagining. And judgment drops away. You start really living in this world. Every single human being is my brother. Every plant is my family. Every rock is conscious and aware. I even have had experiences washing dishes and having this overwhelming gratitude for my silverware and my plates that they each have spirit and they're serving me. So it's this dissolving illusion of separation with all of life around you. Yeah. Life becomes truly magical and wondrous.
Yes. Yeah, we become more tuned in, more engaged with this concept of real life, this concept of authenticity, right?
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love the direction that this conversation is going. And I want to go a little deeper into the quality of love that you felt when you were with the dolphins. This is something, a sensation that I know as well. And I do think it's worth describing to the listeners, this idea of love from the unconditional space.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting shivers. I don't know if your listeners are getting shivers. Yeah, the dolphin. what we've discovered, my husband David channels a golden dolphin spirit being named Archie. And Archie has given us a lot of insight into who the dolphins are and what their evolutionary path has been, both as a species on Earth and as a consciousness.
Mm.
And he has said that the dolphins are farther ahead in their evolution than we are. There's a particular advanced journey that we offer to our clients. And he said the dolphins went through that stage in their evolution 15 million years ago.
Yeah.
So they are so their love is so pure.
Yes.
Many people in my early experiences with dolphin energy healing, many times a client would be floating in the water and then elevated. They'd experience themselves being elevated into the heavens and they'd meet Christ.
Mm.
And I do believe that the dolphins are embodiments of the Christ consciousness on earth.
Mm.
So it's just an absolute sublime, divine love. And it, in my experience, it does open us up at the deepest levels so that their healing energy can penetrate into those darker spaces that sometimes other modalities couldn't penetrate because of the safety that we feel in their field of energy and love.
Yeah.
It's very profound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The love it's interesting because it's a love that I never felt before I felt it with
Right.
dolphins,
Right.
and immediately, just as you said, this desire to feel that love was accompanied by the desire to share that kind of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I think about it is that if the dolphins are showing us this, those of us that have had these moments in quiet to be with them, if they're sharing us with that, it's possible for all the humans, right? It's
Absolutely.
part of our evolution to be able to love in this way and through that love heal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. The dolphins told us through Archie that the overarching dolphin consciousness that spans universes,
Mm.
they initiated a project on planet Earth about 70 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And their intention, this project, is to heal the hearts of humanity, all of humanity.
Yeah.
And they see this as a 200 to 250-year project. So they're in this for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to reach all 7 billion plus humans. So that requires a lot of ambassadors on lots of places on the planet to be vessels for that love.
Sure.
That is so magnetic and joyful and healing.
I want to chat a little bit more about the collective consciousness. We've touched upon this idea of oneness. We've touched upon consciousness a bit. Dolphins, for me, have shown me the collective consciousness in such a way and have showed me how the smallest vibration within one human really impacts other humans and so on. And I would just love to hear you elaborate on your own experience with dolphins in the collective.
It's that butterfly effect. That's absolutely correct. Some of the questions that I get often have to do with the harsh things that are happening on the planet. What do the dolphins say about that? What do the dolphins say about that? And my continual, consistent experience has been they don't take me there. What they say to me over and over again is stay in your joy. Yeah. By staying in your joy, you're in the best service to yourself, to humanity, and to planet Earth. And it really is a matter of integrity at this point and authenticity for me as a dolphin ambassador on Earth to stay in my joy. It's not always easy and I don't always succeed, but they don't take me into those places of the drama and the chaos. I do know that there are multiple realities coexisting on Earth, multiple dimensions. Yeah. And something that I discovered is the quality of our personal consciousness determines the quality of our life, the quality of our relationships, the quality of our connections. And so for me, doing the work to continually evolve and elevate and expand human consciousness is really the key.
Mm.
When we're vibrating at the frequency of divine joy, those other things, the drama and the chaos, doesn't touch you.
Right.
So I know I kind of live in this bubble in my frequency here in Sedona, and life is just amazing and magical. It's when I travel out into the world and I see how the masses live that the contrast can be so stark and shocking. But they've helped me as well in those situations to simply allow the dolphin love to radiate.
Yes.
Even in communities near where my mother lives in Pittsburgh, that are the Black community that's drugs and shootings, I drive through there to go to the health food store. And when I drive through there and it's really dilapidated, it's a very depressed location, but the dolphin love pours through me to every single person I see on the streets. It goes into the earth. It's just, there's so much love and compassion that the dolphins simply share their love. And it's beautiful. So I have no fear going through those places. I see everybody as walking miracles and as walking beings of light. So it's a different way to live.
It's a great lesson for listeners to sort of take into, certainly first off, staying in your joy, but also being able to see the light in every being, and whether you have a physical connection with them or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. It's really, really magical.
Yeah, we're the brotherhood of man. And
Right.
truly, every single human being is our family. So if we can start really seeing that in one another and being with one another from that perspective, boy, the whole world would change in a heartbeat. And as you said, it starts with one person. It starts with me.
Yeah.
And each person who has, in one moment of one day, is able to connect with somebody from that place, that ripple effect has such an impact.
Absolutely. 100%. There's so much good to share, and like you said, it's sort of hard when you're spending time with the dolphins in physicality or in energy to go anywhere but that sense of joy, go anywhere but that space of expanded consciousness. And I think more and more humans are waking up, or reawakening really to something that I feel has been inside us since we were children.
Just covered over.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. The childhood part of us knows. Yeah. Wonderful. So if you could just share with our listeners what you think might be the greatest gifts that Dolphin Energy, Dolphins, Dolphin Healing has gifted to you, what would that be?
For me, it was the gift of this transformed consciousness. And it was a journey that took 7 years. It was an experiment that they did on me. Thankfully, it was a success. And it was, what I know about the dolphins, and when I say dolphins, I'm talking about the spirit and consciousness of dolphins, because I'm not with them in the physical. So what I know about, whenever humans choose to partner with spirit dolphins as part of their spirit team, the dolphins look inside our deepest sacred heart and see what our deepest heart's desires are. Sometimes we don't even know what they are yet, but they see what our deepest heart's desires are, and they bring that to the surface, and they support us in bringing those desires into manifestation. So my deepest heart's desire, illogical as it was to be a living embodiment of dolphin love and joy in this human body. And they found a way to do that. It took 7 years. It was a very intricate, sophisticated, advanced process. And ultimately, what happened is, my way of describing it, which isn't accurate or complete, fully accurate or complete, is that they found a way to merge their dolphin consciousness with my human consciousness. And I did have an awakening one morning in January 2003 when I woke up, and I knew I was brand new. I didn't know how. I felt brand new. The fears that I had been feeling leading up to that were completely gone.
Yeah.
I was expressing myself in the world without inhibition, without fear. I was so free that it was intoxicating.
Mm.
And then the information was given to me that what the dolphins had done was they found a way to manifest my deepest heart's desire, which was
Mm.
to be a living embodiment and radiator of dolphin love and joy all the time in my
Mm.
daily life. And now others can receive that gift. That's the dolphin attunement journey that we share with people.
Mm.
That truly is the greatest gift, and it is an evolutionary leap for humanity. This gift
Mm-hmm.
of human dolphin consciousness.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. So I guess the last question I have is if you could offer our listeners any guidance toward connecting with their spirit dolphin or whatever they choose to call dolphin energy, what would
Yes.
those tips be?
I would say to just sit quietly and connect with their hearts. So they can put their hands on their hearts, take a few breaths into their hearts, think of someone or something that they absolutely love. I think of my kitty cat Bliss Bear, and I'm right in my heart space.
Mm.
And when you feel yourself quieted down, then put out a call from your heart and ask a spirit dolphin to come to you.
Mm.
And immediately, a spirit dolphin will respond and be there for you and with you for as long as as that connection serves you.
Mm.
And then just start experimenting. Sit in the energy of your dolphin spirit. Allow this dolphin spirit to fill you up with their love and with their joy. You can talk to them as if they're your best friends. You may think you're going crazy and that it's all in your imagination, but it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And ask them to help you. You give them assignments, big assignments and small assignments.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they are so there for us. And the more of us that do that, bring the dolphin spirit through, the more dolphin energy bathes planet Earth without more dolphins having to incarnate. You know, the more dolphins on the planet, that's great, but it brings it to land, which is where we really need it as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, Mother
And
Earth soaks it up.
yes, and it's accessible to all of us, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just because there's some
Absolutely.
of us like yourself and myself that have had these, sort of wild experiences in the water,
Right.
um, it's accessible to everyone,
Absolutely.
everyone. And I think that's the most important message to share is if that, you know, someone does feel called to tap into this energy, to give it a go. And as Linda said, make that call from that heart space and
Yeah.
ask for them to come in, ask for them to share the energy with you and bring that energy to land because that energy is really powerful and really potent and really
And so
transformative.
healing, so
Yes,
healing.
yes, yes.
And if you start giggling and feeling joyful and wanting to go play, you know that's the sign that the dolphins are around you. They help us lighten up and bring more joy into our lives. It's really delightful and magical.
That's one of their greatest lessons, I think, is just, helping us return to play.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
beautiful. Linda, I love this conversation so much. I'm really excited. I think we could talk for hours. But
I agree, Crystal.
yeah, but we do have to close. So I would love for you just to share how folks can get in touch with you if they're interested in doing so to learn more about your attunement program and your energy healing.
Great. So our website is www.dolphinity.com. So it's dolphinity.com. And we are in transition. When people go to that website, they're going to see a cute little welcome page, and then it's going to direct you to our old website. All of the new is coming this year. And on the services page, what people can do is go to the services page, and we do offer, my husband David offers every Thursday at noon Pacific time, a free 20-minute dolphin energy healing transmission for anybody.
Hmm.
So that would be a really great way for people to get introduced to the feeling and the concept of dolphin energy healing with the beautiful pod that gathers on Thursdays.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful gift for
Mhm.
anyone who's listening to take advantage of. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Linda, thank you so much. This was pure joy and pure consciousness. I sort of can't believe how fast the time is flowing as we get into dolphins
Yes.
and their energy. But of course, this is how it goes with dolphins. Um,
Yes.
if there's anything else you'd like to share, now would be the time to do so.
I would say the other thing is if people are really curious about what's possible for you in your life, get my book, Dolphin Love from Sea to Land, because it really begins. The first chapter is before the dolphins entered my life at all. It gives a snapshot into what my life was like before the dolphins. And
Mm,
then there's just, I mean, it really is magical. And my intention for the book is that it not just be a story, somebody else's story that you read, that people who read the book have their own dolphin journey as they read, that the frequencies of the dolphin immerse them. And
mm.
I've heard so many people say that the book just radiates so much dolphin love and joy that it's quite an experience. So I would recommend that as another way to get started.
Beautiful. It's an amazing book. I also would highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda. It was such a pleasure to share in this time of sacred consciousness and dolphin energy with you today with our listeners.
And thank you for what you're doing, bringing this energy and consciousness out into the world as well, Crystal. I love knowing that we're compatriots in that service.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.